to a weekly message from Jesus. My new book, or I should say God's new book, will be available middle of October. I hope all of you will get a copy of it or send copies to your friends. It's just strictly 61 of his messages from this channeling. So we'll give you more details in the future, but our Father is here and he is ready with his message. Hello, everyone. Each week, I bring you another message. I know there are many of you that anticipate this, and I know that there are many of you out there that listen, and I know that there are many of you out there that truly do try to spread my words. Today, I'm going to speak to you about love your neighbor. Now, you didn't notice I didn't say love thy neighbor. That's what many of you read in the Bible. But I thought you need to understand that I never spoke Old English, and thy is Old English. The use of that word is proof that my words have been changed drastically through the years. Now, there were many in the 2,000 years that thought they were doing a wonderful job. They thought that if they exaggerated my story or my words, then more people would be impressed and more people would remember it and more people would respond to it. I want to impress you with two things today. Number one, my message is incredibly simple. Sometimes the Gospels, as they have wound up, are incredibly difficult to understand. The fact that my message has become so complicated in the Bible and the different Gospels is very perplexing. When I spoke, and I've told you this before, the people to whom I spoke were very poor. They were uneducated. They were just trying to get along. They were fishermen, carpenters, farmers. But they didn't have college degrees. They didn't have the simplest education. Most could not read or write. Writing was reserved for people of wealth. Yes, I did have people that joined me that could read and write. Matthew was a great example of that. But the vast majority had absolutely no way of writing down my words or understanding them if they were complicated. Now, I want you to not look down upon the people that changed my words through the years because they thought they were doing a good thing. I want you to look beyond the complexities of many of the teachings as presented in the Gospels. I want you to think of it as very simple wording. Each week I try to talk to you in a very simple manner. I keep telling you that my basic teaching that underlies all religions is what you think of as the golden rule. Doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's pretty simple. But let me get back to loving your neighbor. I want you to love everyone. Now, I understand that sometimes it's very difficult to love some other people. Many other people, and maybe it'll be your neighbors, have fallen under the influence of evil energies. They believe in self. They believe that the whole world revolves around them and that they should get what they want. Perhaps your neighbors can be anybody. They could be very rich. and they can still be among the most selfish people you'll ever meet. Now, I know that it's very difficult to love somebody like that, even like. I don't want you to hate anyone. I don't want you to show anger towards even your nastiest neighbor. If they do things to offend you, step back. Think about it. Treat them with love and respect, even though they insult you. They're not going to know how to handle that. You're going to find that following my words make your life so much easier. If you remove anger and hatred from your lives, then you're going to be much happier. That's just common sense. You see, everything of which I speak is common sense. I tell you this week after week. I know it's difficult to try to spread my words. Many people look down at you. Many people ridicule. Many people make fun of you. Oh, I'm aware of that. But it is part of what you must endure if you are going to truly, truly live by my words and help to spread them. Now, Barry mentioned earlier that a new book is coming out. It is a compilation of over 60 of my messages that I've given you on this show. It is a great opportunity for individuals to understand my messages and to read them. It's a great devotional. These are truly my words. I would really ask that all of you try to read the book. Now, I know you've heard them, but when you sit down and read them, they're going to sound differently to you. You can go back to them, you can focus on them, you can think about what I say. This is an opportunity for everyone to truly help spread my words. We will be doing everything to make it possible for even the poorest individual to obtain copies of my words. Love your neighbor. I want you to think about that. The whole world is your neighbor. Everyone that comes into your life should be thought of as a neighbor. That's not complicated. Your neighbor is not just the person living next to you. Your neighbor can be anyone that comes into your life. Love everyone that comes into your life. Oh, there's going to be some that you won't be able to truly love. And I understand that. That's a weakness of humans. They cannot truly love people that they would rather hate. I didn't say this was going to be easy. I never do. I say that you have to reach within yourself, find that inner strength, and that inner strength, believe it or not, is that little bit of energy that I've put into your heart. The energy of God is your inner strength. Rely on that inner strength. Do not accept the human frailties that everyone has. The biggest human frailty is the showing of anger and hatred towards others. Rely on that inner spark. When your neighbor offends you, don't strike back. Think about how you can speak to that individual and show them that maybe they'd be happier if they didn't do this. All I want for you is to be happy, and that happiness comes from following my words. If you can truly love your neighbor, then you can love anybody and everybody. I hesitate sometimes to speak of these things because they're so simple. I guess that all of you think that if God is speaking to you, it has to be so complicated that it's difficult to understand and you have to go perhaps to a minister to interpret it. My goal with these messages is to give you words that you can truly understand, that you don't need to speak to anyone else about. I want to give you words that will make you look into your inner energies, find patience, find love, and show that love to others. Love your neighbor. Everybody's your neighbor. Think of it like that. The more love that you show to others, the better your life and their life is going to be. Rely on the inner spark of God's energy. It's always there. Sometimes it's very, very difficult for you to see, but it takes faith to know that that energy is always within you. You see, faith is the key. You're never going to have absolute proof. I mean, I've shown Barry absolute proof because he had to be 100% aware that he's speaking my words. There could be no doubt, and he has no doubt. He wouldn't be going through all this if he had any doubts. He could be enjoying a very simple retirement, walking around in the mountains, but he spends many hours every day trying to figure out how he can bring you my words. I would just simply want you to love everyone. That will rub off on your politicians, and hopefully it will have far-reaching effects. That love is basically your only hope. The love that is within you can be the spark that ignites the wildest fire of love that is conceivable. So thank you once again for listening. I hope that you tell your friends about this. And I hope that you truly understand and have faith. So I bless all of you. I bless all the ones that hate me or hate others. Show charity, show love, and all will be well. I'll be back again next week. Goodbye, and thank you for listening. Thank you, Father. As always, a great message. We'll be back again next week. All the messages are on my YouTube channel. You can go on and listen to them, enjoy them. I know that if you do, you will find happiness in your hearts. So goodbye, and we will return again to you next week.